Hey everyone! Welcome back to our channel where we look at some of the most intense, thrilling, and sometimes scary films out there. Today, we are unraveling the dark and twisted world of Insanitarium, 2008, a horror thriller set in a mental asylum where the patients are by no means ordinary. Imagine this: a desperate brother, determined to save his sister, gets himself admitted to a psychiatric hospital and learns it is a place where sinister experiments are turning patients into bloodthirsty monsters. So, how far would you be prepared to go for your family, and what horrors present themselves when science goes tremendously wrong? From suspense to horror, to just a smidge of madness. If you're ready for the story, stay with us as we dissect the most spine-chilling scenes in Insanitarium. Imagine a place where the efforts to be reunited with family result instead in a terrifying ambush of terror. In today's story, we look at a brother putting everything at risk to save his sister Lily. Lily was sent to an asylum against her wishes, and she's locked away under a corrupt system where women are treated like mere subjects of twisted experiments. When she isn't allowed visitors of the family, Jack takes a radical step to break her out from the inside. Dr. Janetti, the man in charge, has sinister plans for his patients. Instead of treating them, he's conducting inhumane experiments, pushing the boundaries of science by using a drug that brings out the primal animalistic instincts in people. As Jack finds himself in this treacherous world, watching as the patients around him become violent, crazed creatures, devoid of any humanity, he learns the drug makes them worse. Much worse in terms of their primal tendencies, and turns them into a horde of unstoppable, bloodthirsty killers. Jack's sister, Lily, has even become one of the doctor's latest test subjects. The stakes have gone up. Not only does he have to save her, but he also has to get out of the madhouse before he and Lily become part of Janetti's monstrous experiment. When Jack gets to the asylum, he's disoriented and sedated, but he's sticking to his plan. Very soon, he causes a scene, so he's locked in maximum security and surrounded by hardened criminals and patients who are treated in strange, horrific ways. Mark, one of Jack's only allies in this asylum, lurks nearby. Dr. Janetti, the asylum's lead psychiatrist, has created a mysterious treatment called Orpheum. It's no ordinary medicine. The patients' eyes go hauntingly white as their minds are controlled like puppets, and it makes them look more like the undead. Jack soon realizes this treatment is a high-tech nanotechnology, a non-human cure for mental illness. It brings side effects that Dr. Janetti intended. It turns patients into brutal, violent, and apparently cannibalistic beings. The viewers are kept on edge as Jack tries to figure out a plan. He joins the few sane inmates left who hope to escape by overpowering the deranged staff. Trust is a difficult thing to come by in such a place, where sanity hangs by a thread, and you can't trust your allies for a second. Jack fights to survive, battling new horrors, human and monstrous, with every corner he turns. Jack also faces another shocking discovery. Charles, the guard, is abusing his power in order to harass vulnerable patients like Heather, who is mentally unstable but aware enough to sense Jack's presence. She leaves him notes, tries to warn him, and even invites him to a room where he ends up at the mercy of a corrupt system, where her voice is silenced. Jack watches helplessly as his only chance to succeed is to avoid being too close to anyone. Then Dave, another inmate, sees Jack's strange behavior and gives him a lifeline. Cunning, untrusting of anyone but himself, and with secrets that could be Jack's ticket out, Dave keeps a mysterious personality. He's even worked out a deal with Charles for bonus privileges by stealing meds. Jack and Dave become unlikely partners together. They learn how to dodge Janetti and how to find a hole in the asylum's twisted maze. But they also find out about Orpheum's sinister side. It is mutating, spreading like a virus, changing the patients into monsters gradually. Jack's time to save Lily only gets shorter with every day. One night, when a power failure occurs, the violent maximum security inmates are set loose. In the middle of the carnage, Jack and Dave are surrounded with patients-turned-monsters and blood-soaked corridors to barely make it out alive. Lily is finally found in a cell by Jack, and she is unrecognizable, Having been convinced by Giannetti that she is too sick to be saved, Jack is desperate and tells Lily he will not leave her behind. He enters Giannetti's office and finds documents that show Orpheum to be something far more than a treatment. It's a prototype for prisoning the human mind with military applications. As he approaches Jack and Lily, Giannetti injects himself, becoming a superhuman villain. Finally, Jack and Giannetti are locked in a brutal final showdown. Jack even manages to overpower Giannetti to get the keys, finally allowing Lily to be free. But their escape isn't over. The asylum's last survivors, twisted patients, former allies, begin to swarm as they flee down the blood-streaked halls. Alarms start blaring as Jack, Lily, and Dave break through to daylight. A glimmer of relief arrives for a moment until police show up and point guns at them. Just as they arrive, infected patients catch Jack and Lily and start storming out, attacking the officers with animalistic ferocity, tearing through flesh. The drug has gone beyond the asylum walls. The screams and chaos continue, and Jack knows that this outbreak is one that cannot be stopped. The authorities are overrun by the infected patients, now possessed with an insatiable hunger, and the town is ruled by the infected like wildfire. Jack and Lily are haunted by what they've seen. The world around them is crumbling. They're free, but might be among the last to know the truth. In this haunting twist, we're left to ask ourselves, was all that Jack did in saving Lily really worth it? Or has he, by some accident, released something that is much worse than he could possibly have imagined? Perhaps his heroic act of defiance, fueled by love and desperation, is the first domino of a disaster, one that is about to spill out of the asylum walls and into the rest of the world. Could this infection spread to cities, to entire communities, and turn the world into a battlefield? Or worse, will the darkness of these corrupted minds poison the rest of society, blurring the lines between sanity and savagery? As the police fall victim to the ravenous swarm of patients, you can't help but wonder, is anyone safe? Jesse Metcalfe, who plays Desperate Housewives' John Rowland, a role that made him popular, also stars in the movie. In Insanitarium, he plays a much more intense role as Jack, a man on a mission to save his sister any which way possible. Metcalfe was applauded for bringing raw desperation and vulnerability to the character, qualities which make Jack a character we can relate to even as he's confronted by horrific threats. Peter Stormare plays Dr. Giannetti, the twisted film's psychiatrist and main villain. Stormare is no stranger to playing villains, having done so in films like Fargo and Constantine. I find his portrayal of Dr. Giannetti is chillingly effective, as he is as intelligent as he is menacing. Stormare's Giannetti is a memorable antagonist. Twisted and without empathy, he's a sort of completely unhinged presence that will keep audiences on their toes. Familiar from comedy and drama is Carla Gallo, who plays Lily, Jack's sister, who becomes a victim of Dr. Giannetti's terrifying experiments. Gallo's performance is emotionally weighty, and her transformation under the doctor's experiments is the emotional heart of Jack's struggle. Gallo is known for her films Bones and Superbad, but her turn as Lily shows how she can range and be vulnerable, so viewers can root for her as a character. Also notable are Olivia Munn as Nancy, a fellow inmate, and Kevin Sussman, who plays a character, Dave, who simultaneously brings a dark humor and fear to the already tense and bleak atmosphere of the hospital. Insanitarium didn't exactly fly off the shelves when it was released, but it did attract a small group of fans who enjoyed its bleak, original take on the horror genre. Since the film went straight to DVD, it wasn't widely seen, but it became a cult favorite among horror devotees. The film was well received by fans, who appreciated its blend of psychological, suspense, and body horror elements, and especially its intense scenes and atmosphere. While some critics found these aspects unsettling or even controversial, the horror community praised Insanitarium for being one of the first to showcase what people with mental illness and experimenting with science would be like. The film also received some attention for its use of practical effects and makeup in the grotesque transformations of the patients. Insanitarium instead opts for practical effects to add that visceral, realistic feel that fans of classic horror gravitate towards. The movie received mixed reviews. Some liked it as an intense and thrilling addition to the horror genre, while others thought that the narrative wasn't fully developed, or that it was too reliant on shock value. So that being said, tell me, how far would you go to save someone you love? Can you survive when that thing you're trying to save itself becomes a nightmare? From science to sanity to survival, this film pushes the limits of humanity and monstrosity. Let us know in the comments below if you'd have the guts to take on Dr. Genetti's Asylum, and if you'd like us to dive into more horror thrillers like Insanitarium. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more intense movie reviews coming your way.